Eberflus, the Chicago Bears coach, never won a road game on a Sunday. He was 0 for 18. And like that guy in your family who thinks they work hard, but they really don't, he thinks the Bears are buttoned up. He'll argue the Bears were buttoned up. So why is this a story? Well, there's a lot of back and forth defending Caleb Williams and criticizing Caleb Williams, the Bears' young quarterback, who wasn't as bad as everybody says in his first year because he actually set some Chicago Bear rookie quarterback records. Considering he ended the season with the passing game coordinator as a head coach, and the division was about as good as it's ever been. Detroit, Green Bay, and Minnesota were all really good. And Caleb Williams was okay. But Caleb Williams had said in Seth Wickersham's new book that he didn't feel like Shane Waldron gave him personalized coaching regularly. And that backed up what Taylor Dahl had said in a podcast. He was a Chicago podcaster in an expose in February. He just didn't get good enough coaching. So Matt Eberflus is now saying, oh, no, we were buttoned up. We were very good on the details. Here's Matt Eberflus on the Doomsday Podcast.
In the development of the quarterback position and really all positions, at my time at the Bears, we've always had daily coached film sessions. That was out through the entire year. So that's what I've observed, and that's where it was.
Okay, so to me, between the road statistic that Matt Eberflus never won a road game on a Sunday, that leads me to believe this team was loose. But the other two things that lead me to believe that are on Matt Eberflus. Number one, the Hail Mary loss to Washington, where he had a defensive back, forget the setup play, when he gave Washington 15 yards for free. That was bad coaching. But you had 3 timeouts left, didn't call one as a defensive back is jawing for the Bears with the road fans. And then you give up, and this can be luck, a Hail Mary. You had 3 timeouts. Call one. Make the offense think. That's not good coaching. And again, I'm not even going to show you the play before that set that up, which is where they gave the Commanders 15 yards. Would Belichick in his prime do that? No. And by the way, Eberflus never addressed it. In fact, reportedly, this is according to published reports, it annoyed veterans on the team that he didn't call out the young DB. So clearly he's not an overly confrontational guy. Kind of the Mike D'Antoni of the NBA that he acknowledged, I don't like confrontation. Eberflus clearly didn't like confrontation. Veteran players were upset how he handled the Hail Mary loss. The second moment, again, I can't blame anybody but Eberflus, was that road game where they had the Detroit Lions beat, 33 seconds left. They're close to field goal range. Caleb Williams had just been sacked. He was out of sorts. The clock is winding down. Road game against a better team. You needed timeout. And Matt Eberflus did not throw his quarterback a life preserver. He can't hear. It's 33 seconds. He's a rookie. He's on the road. Detroit's one of the NFL's loudest stadiums. Where's the coaching? So between the fact that he could never win a road game on a Sunday in Chicago, the Hail Mary loss, some of it's luck, some of it's not coaching. Again, the 15 yards they gave up before the Hail Mary that set it up. And that play, and after that play, like the Hail Mary loss, he said, you know what? I would do it the same way. Wow. Okay, it's one thing to not be buttoned up, to be flimsy on the details, and then not address the Hail Mary loss, and then double down on, yeah, I thought that's the way you should coach.
Yeah. Listen. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm always honest. But I'm going to be extra honest. Maybe it's because I'm sick right now. You maybe hear it. Who cares? Seriously. Why is Eberflus talking about this right now? Like, how is not his answer just like, yeah, I'm with a new team right now. You know, I'm just focused on this. Why is he even on a podcast? Seriously, you just got fired from your job. Like, he's not a personality. He's not a Sean McVay. He's not a, you know, like, it's just like, why are you even doing a podcast? Like it on one side, you always got to continue to sell yourself. And even if you are like an Eberflus, there's the benefit to building your brand, because maybe one day you could be a host, you could be on ESPN. I don't know. There's obviously lots of opportunities. Speaking of Sean McVay, Amazon wanted to pay him like $200 million just to be the commentator or whatever. So it's like there is value in building brand, but I don't think Eberflus has it. You got to win. You got to be like a lot more respected, quite frankly. Mike Tomlin could leave the NFL and immediately would have like endless opportunities. Could Eberflus like get in a booth somewhere? Could he like show up on NFL Live randomly? Could he show up randomly on a show like this and give interviews? For sure. But like him being on a random podcast, and maybe it was a great podcast. I don't honestly know. It's not the difference between him having a career post NFL. Not to mention he's still trying to have a career within the NFL. So like I don't even understand why you're even giving an interview right now. You should just be like, there's not much to say. I really have no comments right now. You have some sort of canned response. Like I'm here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. That's where all my focus is. The truth is, I tried my best with Chicago. I think we did a lot of awesome things there. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. And I'm looking to turn the page. And you know what? As a coach, I'm always looking to grow and evolve. And I'm excited to be able to focus 100% on defense and team up with Schottenheimer. And I don't know, right? Like you just give some sort of generic lukewarm response here. I think one of the other things was that the devil's in the details when he said like, oh, this is what I've observed. Like that's an interesting statement. When he was talking about the coach film study, he was like, that's what I observed. Like, one, that's the biggest reason when you have an up-and-coming quarterback, when you team him up with a defensive coach. Because not like what I observed. You could be like, no, this is what I did. Sean McVay is like, no, I'm with Matthew Stafford. Ben Johnson's like, I'm with Caleb Williams. I'm with Jared Goff. It's not like just what I observed. It's like, I was here. I was there. I'm the one that's pointing out and saying, do you see this? Do you get it? What are your questions? Like, there's just different levels to that. But as well as just like, this is what I observed, like, you should have been like, I was in the room, like this wasn't just observations. Like, I was there, like, be like, I was there with Shane Waldron and Caleb. And I, of course, Shane being the OC, like, he took, he had full range over how he wanted to go about this. But don't get me wrong, as a defensive coach, I can add a lot of benefits and I can add some other perspective. There's a reason why Tom Brady met with Bill Belichick every single week. Every single week. And I always point this out because I do find it great, that I got to find the clip again. But Tom Brady's like, we would tease Bill Belichick for not understanding the offensive lingo, that it's just a completely different language. And I love that. I always remind myself that because it's like someone as great as Bill Belichick couldn't talk the talk offensively. And it just goes to show you how specialized football gets. But he would go and have these meetings with Tom and, essentially be like, this is how I'd stop you. Every single week, like, this is how I'd stop you. And it's just like Eberflus could have brought that. He could have brought that to Caleb Williams and been like, hey, this is how the defenses are stopping us week to week. Like this is the stuff that we gotta work on together here. And by all reports, like, I don't hear that. Like, that would have been the perfect time for him to say that. And maybe he said that. I'm not listening to an entire podcast with Eberflus. I mean, I'm just not. That's what I'm saying. Like, who wants that right now? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, when he first got fired, I'd want that. Like, I'd be like, ooh, that'd be juicy. Like, let's go. But now I'm like, I could be the biggest Chicago Bears fan. I could be like an absolute lifer, born and raised. Sorry to say I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, I could be just like, straight out of an SNL sketch, right? And I still wouldn't care about this. I would be like, whatever, man. It's the past. You're with Dallas. Have fun. Best of luck to you. I'm moving on. It's one thing if Eberflus was this amazing coach for the Bears and was prolific and was leading them to these amazing seasons and we're getting to NFC championship games or even Super Bowls, and there was just like so much momentum and energy, almost like kind of like an Andy Reid with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then for some reason like everything just collapsed and like there was weird whispers of like Andy just being kind of strange and bizarre and like wasn't really working with the quarterback. Like, then I could understand. Then I'd be like, all right, that's interesting. Let's see what you got. But other than that, it's just like, who cares? He was a coach they hired, had some success, had some failures. Boom, done. See ya. Don't care. I mean, it's just like, it just doesn't matter to me. So, yeah. And then it's just so funny because I keep seeing, like they keep doing this. Expect Williams to improve this season. I'm going to say this again because I kind of have to. Like, this just goes to show you the power of the brand of the Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams. Like, to me, stories like this are just like, hey, I want to talk about the Chicago Bears today. What do we got? Well, Eberflus said a couple things on a podcast. Great. Let's do it. And I already did a really deep dive on the importance of coaching. And that's why when I first saw this, when I first, reacted to this clip in real time, I'm thinking to myself in my mind, like, I don't want to go on a whole rant about the importance of coaching. Like, I've already done that, and I think I did a good job. And I'm going to do it again in a different video surrounding offensive coordinators. And I personally, I'm like, I really like what I said there. I'm just going to cut that section and put it on the new video just because it's like, I don't think I could repeat that. Like, and it was just like, what else is there to say now with this coach who got fired? But it's just like, that's why I try to take, look at this from a little bit different of a lens. And, listen, I'm sure next week or maybe even Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll have to talk about what do I expect Williams to improve on this season. And for the 10,000th time, I can't do it today. I just can't. But I believe Williams, Caleb Williams, we're just call him Williams. That doesn't feel right. Caleb, to improve this season. I expect him to improve this season. I think that's a fair conclusion to draw and reach. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the last thing I'll say is with Eberflus as well. At the end of the day, everyone is always trying to save their own butt. I mean, like that was probably one of the most valuable lessons I learned at my one job at the inpatient rehab facility, where my one supervisor was just like, I forget what the acronym, save your own. Yeah, like SYOA, and it was like it was like cover your own, butt or whatever. And essentially, it was just like, as long as you do that, you'll never find yourself in trouble. You'll always be doing the right thing. In this facility, in this environment, as long as you do everything that you need to do, and you're always covered, you always got your own back, right? You get the signature when you need the signature. You always have proper interactions with the patients and the other staff. Like, as long as you are always covering your own butt, like, there's so much stuff is going to go insane in this building. Things are going to get wild. As long as you just cover your own butt, you'll be okay. Because, again, you're dealing with a lot of people with criminal backgrounds and police and parole officers. There's just, like, legal gets involved. Like, it's a mess. It can get very complicated very quickly. And it's like, as long as you cover your own butt, you'll be okay. And the reality is that it's like that in all of these situations. Like, everyone is always trying to save themselves. We see this time and time again in sports. There's always a scapegoat. Everyone's always trying to blame someone for something. No, it was a quarterback. No, it was the head coach. It was the coordinator. I mean, it was clearly the owner. I mean, the GM. Like, nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to take responsibility. And, it's a balance. It makes me think of Game of Thrones, seriously, with Eddard Stark. And, like, he was all about living a life of integrity. Of being honest and genuine. You can make the argument that he was like the only honest and genuine man in that universe. And he gets his head knocked off. And it's just like, or it makes me think of, I forget the guy's name, when she's like, when they're fighting in that castle, like where you could like fall through the sky essentially. And she's like, you have no honor. And he's like, yeah, well, he did, and like he's currently falling, and it's just like, it's just like, There's like no rules when trying to survive. And so like everyone's always trying to point fingers. And it's just, I always thought that if I could ever interview as a coach, as a GM, something a little bit more technical, if I'm working with the owner, one of my biggest selling points would be just like, listen, man, I know you're the man in power. I know you got everything. And the type of person who you would hire from me I'm going to be the person that is 100% always going to be honest. If I make a mistake, I'm going to let you know. If I don't make a mistake and I truly think it's someone else, like I want my words to have to have power, to mean something. That when I say something, even if you disagree with it, you know without a shadow of a doubt that I am giving you the truth, the way how I at least see it, you know, and you never have to question that. You never have to try to decipher that. You know, I want my word to mean something to you, and that is who you're hiring, because I can guarantee you, you're in a building right now surrounded by people who are always trying to just shuffle the truth around. You know, everyone's just trying to keep their paycheck, and of course, I want to keep my paycheck. You know, and this is obviously a made up example, but like, this is who I am, and you don't see that enough in the NFL. And to me, this is more of an example of this again, because you're on a podcast. I don't know, man. It's all weird to me, honestly. Especially when you're like a well-paid coach in the NFL. Like, I just don't know who has time for that. It's like, I could go on this podcast, or I could like just relax for a second, because I do so much work nonstop all day, every day in the NFL, even in the off season. It's like, or I still just need to recharge my batteries, because in about a month or so, it's going to be crazy. And you're like, nah, I'm going to go on a podcast. It's like, all right, you go do that. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Chicago Bears? Eberflus disputing Caleb's reported criticisms, and expect Caleb. We got to say Caleb. Expect Caleb to improve this season. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're all on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.